For 4.5 millennia, the Great Sphinx has stood as the solitary sentinel of Giza. It is the ultimate symbol of ancient Egypt, a monolith of limestone, gazing eternally toward the rising sun. Historians tell us it is unique, a singular anomaly in a land of pairs. But that narrative is cracking. Deep beneath the plateau, modern technology has stripped away the skin of the desert. Ground-penetrating radar and orbital scans have revealed a massive, rectilinear void buried under centuries of sediment. It is not a geological fault. It is not a random formation. It is a structure. The data suggests a shape of staggering familiarity. Same dimensions, same orientation, a mirror image sleeping in the dark. This discovery has ignited a war within the highest levels of the Egyptian government and shattered the timeline of the Old Kingdom. Are we looking at a twin monument or a colossal ancient misdirection? The first cracks in the official story didn't come from a shovel, but from a satellite. In the early 2000s, survey teams swept the area south of the Great Sphinx using ground-penetrating radar and LIDAR, technology capable of seeing through 30 feet of solid earth as if it were glass. In a zone historically dismissed as empty desert, the return signal spiked. The instruments detected orthogonal lines, right angles and parallel walls that nature simply does not create. The anomaly is roughly 240 feet long. It sits parallel to the known Sphinx, separated by a field of debris. But it isn't just the size that chills the blood. It's the erosion profile. The subsurface imaging reveals fissures consistent with worked stone, bedrock that was carved, exposed to the air, and then swallowed by a cataclysmic flood of sand. This aligns with a geological reality often ignored. Around 2000 BC, during the Middle Kingdom, the Nile floods reached catastrophic levels. A structure sitting slightly lower on the plateau would have been inundated, buried in silt, and eventually erased from memory. Critics argue that if a second Sphinx existed, we would have found it by now. They claim a monument of that magnitude cannot simply vanish. But in 2018, the city of Luxor provided a stunning counterargument. Workers upgrading a road between the Karnak and Luxor temples hit an obstruction. They weren't digging in the deep desert. They were digging beneath a modern paved street. They unearthed a massive Sphinx dating back to the Old Kingdom that had been sleeping inches beneath the tires of daily traffic for thousands of years. The discovery proved a vital point. Egypt's sands are deep, and our knowledge of what lies beneath them is terrifyingly shallow. If a guardian can hide under a city street in Luxor, one can certainly hide under the shifting dunes of Giza, and unlike the Luxor find, the Giza twin has historical witnesses. Between the paws of the Great Sphinx stands the Dream Stele, commissioned by Thutmose IV over 3,400 years ago. For generations, Egyptologists have treated the artwork purely symbolic. It depicts two sphinxes, back to back, facing opposite directions. But the evidence becomes more tangible in the 19th century. In 1817, Henry Salt, the British consul general in Egypt, surveyed the plateau. He was a man of precision, not fantasy. In his journals, only recently re-examined in London archives, Salt sketched a large, lion-like formation protruding from the sand south of the main monument. He marked its location. When modern researchers overlay Salt's 1817 coordinates with the 21st century radar anomalies, they are a near-perfect match. Henry Salt saw the broken spine of the second Sphinx before the desert buried it again. The existence of a second monument isn't just an archaeological debate, it is a political minefield. The controversy exploded when Reda Abdel Halim, a senior director within the Giza Pyramids district, went public. Halim broke rank. He told local media that the data was conclusive and that the second statue existed. He argued that the missing inscriptions on the Great Sphinx were missing because they were part of a dual set, a sentence cut in half. The backlash was immediate. Dr. Zahi Hawass, the titan of Egyptian archaeology, publicly dismissed the claims, stating there is absolutely no scientific basis for a second Sphinx. The excavation permits were frozen. The narrative was clamped down. But why the hesitation? The answer may lie in the geology. The plateau is a honeycomb of limestone. The area where the anomaly sits is dangerously close to high-traffic tourist zones. A full-scale excavation risks collapsing the ground, or worse, collapsing the accepted history of the Old Kingdom. If it is there, why was it built? The answer may be written in the stars. Ancient Egyptian architecture was rarely random. It was a mirror of the heavens. Conceptually, they worshipped Ma'at, the concept of balance and duality. The Great Sphinx faces due east, watching the sunrise. It is the avatar of Ra, the sun god. But radar analysis shows the buried anomaly is offset by exactly 6 degrees. Astroarchaeologists note that 4,500 years ago, this 6-degree tilt aligned perfectly with the dawn rising of Sirius. In Egyptian mythology, Sirius is the star of Isis, the goddess of magic, resurrection, and the night. The theory is elegant and haunting. The visible Sphinx guards the day, the buried twin guarded the night. One male, one female, a cosmic circuit that has been broken for millennia. For now, the twin remains in the dark. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities has halted physical digging, citing preservation concerns. The official stance remains: there is only one. But the thermal signatures persist. The radar echoes do not lie, and Henry Salt's sketch waits in the archives. We are looking at a crime scene where the body has been hidden, but the outline remains chalked on the floor. The Great Sphinx may not be a solitary guardian after all. It may simply be the only one that survived.